All right, folks, so we're going to go ahead and pick up on this handout. We just did all the regular equations, so now we're going to look at these situations and try and write equations from them. Please remember to pause this video so you can go ahead and read it and then work out your problems, and then check yourself with what I have here. So go ahead and read about the Tour de France. You're supposed to write an equation and then you're supposed to solve it. In this problem, they already tell you what the variable is. They tell you that the shortest stage is supposed to be k, right here. They also tell you the longest stage is 20 kilometers more than 4 times the shortest stage. So they describe it to me. Then they tell me that longest stage is 236 kilometers. So take a second, solve this equation, and then we'll actually answer the question. I get that k is 54, but they don't ask you how long the shortest stage is. They ask for the range. Range is the longest minus the shortest, or the biggest minus the smallest. So if I take the longest and subtract the smallest, that will give me a range of 182 kilometers. So notice here you had to solve an equation, then you had to go back and answer the question. All right, go ahead and read here about Susan buying herself a new coat. The first thing I need to know is what's the unknown. I want to know the original price of the coat. I'm going to call it C. They tell me that the total was $125. They also tell me she had a $10 off coupon. And they tell me she paid half price. So half of the original price. So there's my equation. Go ahead and take a second to solve it. The original price of that coat was $270. I want to go ahead and see if you guys can figure out number 3. So I am not going to work this out. We will talk about it in class tomorrow. But go ahead and do your best to answer A, B, and C. In number 4, my unknown is how many quarters. We'll use Q. They tell me this is 8 more than 3 times the number of quarters. And my total number of coins is 92. That's the equation to solve. So go ahead and pause it and solve that equation. You should get that he has 28 quarters. All right, 2 more. These are some integer problems here. 3 consecutive integers. So if my first one is x, if they're consecutive, that means they're 1 apart. It says I'm supposed to sum them. So if I add all that together, it gives me an equation that looks like this. If you solve that equation, you should get 11. So that means the first integer is 11. If I add 1 to it, I get 12. If I add 2 to it, I get 13. And if I add all of those numbers up, I should get that 36. Last one for us here. This time I have 3 consecutive odd integers. Well, odd integers are 2 apart. If I sum those, it looks something like that. I want their sum to be 3. If you solve this, you should get that x is -1. So that's my first integer. If I add 2 to it, I get +1. If I add 4 to it, I get +3. So those would be my 3 consecutive odd integers. Okay, you guys should go back and solve that number 3 that I did not do for you, and then complete your notes check, and I will see you tomorrow.